Welcome 2020. It's going to be an awesome year. We're so happy to be back on the air. I'm ReneMarie. This is the ReneMarie Stroke of Luck TV show on Village Connection, and my co-host Judy Marlowe. Hi, Judy.
Hi, good morning. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. We're so excited. God, this is our 6th year.
Yes.
And almost 2 years of Village Connection.
Yes.
So thank you, Jim. We're so excited. And I think we've gotten better and better and better and better. And you when you get into things, you learn how to do it and all that. And it was very exciting, very exciting. Our foundation is 6 years young.
Yes.
It really took us 5 years to establish a foundation, like it's called a foundation, but to establish that the groundwork. And I believe that we're going to take off. This is going to be our year. So I'm very happy for everybody. And we want to give thanks to everybody, every single person who has followed us and believed in us. And even if you didn't believe in us and just supported us. And, because, it's hard. It's hard when someone's got a vision to do something and you're kind of like, you don't see it, but you have faith in them.
I had faith in you from the very beginning.
Thank you,
From the very
Jenny.
first day.
Thank you. It's funny. I always tell this story. I think I told it last time on the show. I don't remember. Eddie, I'm not going to say his last name, a kindergarten. I went to kindergarten in St. Anthony's with him through, I think, 5th grade. And he called me one time, many years later, and like when I was, like 10 years ago. And he said to me, and I said, well, I don't understand why everybody doesn't understand what I'm doing. You're like, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, and I'm going to do this. I was going on and on and on and on and on because I have a lot going on.
I know.
He said, Renee, he says, let me speak in the language I think you'll understand. He goes, I want to speak to you in softball language. He goes, each player doesn't need to know the whole game. They don't need to know what the third baseman doesn't need to know what the shortstop does. The shortstop doesn't need to know what the first baseman position they have to do. All they got to do is their own.
And coordinate it together.
Right. All they have to do is learn their own position well and play that, and the whole team works together. He said, my bottom line is, he didn't say in this fashion, but this was the gist of it. You don't have to tell everybody everything you're doing because you'll confuse them. And it's true. I have found that I don't need to let everybody know everything I'm doing because you kind of lose people when you get into that much information. But, I've learned how to craft it and how to manage it. So thank you, Eddie. And he had called me because he said he was a little bit, he wasn't kind to me as we were growing up. He was a troublemaker, but when little boys, he's a little boy, So, but thank you, Eddie, for giving me that information because I do remember it and I do use it in my life. I don't share with everybody everything unless they're engaged, unless they ask questions, unless they're interested.
How did he find you after all those years?
Probably Facebook. You find everybody on Facebook, and then I guess he IM'd me and we shared numbers and all that kind of stuff. But
that's very nice.
Yeah. So, how was your holidays and your New Year?
Very busy.
Yeah?
Very
I know. Judy and Andrew, the king and queen of going out to parties.
We went to so many parties. Oh, my God.
Yeah?
Oh, my God.
Are you vested now?
Not really.
That's funny.
But we had a lot of fun, and he had a few gigs. So
wow, good. That's good. Our vision for 2020 is really to, I want to say take it to the next level, but we've never dropped a level. We've always had high expectations for our vision and our foundation and our show and I another thing I laugh about is Dolly Parton. I just watched a Christmas show for Dolly Parton. Did you see that on the Hallmark Channel?
Oh, she is so wonderful.
I know. And she was in the show. She was saying to somebody like, she was saying, the woman said to her, well, how do you keep doing what you're doing? And she said, well, people always told me I wasn't going to make it. And she said, and I said, well, get out of my way, and let me just keep doing what I'm doing, or something to that fashion.
That's a very important point because in my life, people told me, you can't do that. That's never been done before.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to work out. Oh, you can't change from this industry to that industry. I said, watch me.
Yeah.
And I've done it.
And that fuels us to
And the more they have said it, the more people say something can't be done, the more I want to do it.
Yes, and it fuels us. It's like oh,
it encourages them.
Oh, okay.
Right. I even remember way back when I first started driving, and I wanted to pick up my brother at the airport, and I had a rented car. And I wasn't driving very long, and I was renting a car every week, and then I started working for the rent-a-car place so I could get it free.
Right.
And I wanted to drive to the airport. We're talking LaGuardia, and my father said, no, that's not going to happen. You're not going. Okay, we're going to go in our car. You wait, okay? As soon as they left, I left.
Wow.
And I went, only I parked in the wrong parking lot, and I had to take a bus to where they were. Everything worked out until I realized that I didn't have money to take the car back out.
Wow.
And luckily I found them. So
That's funny. So, so our vision for 2020 is to really lift the bar, keep strokes and aphasia as the forefront of a conversation, and really we're going to add on to keep it there, to not let it die off. When major stars, major personalities who people follow have died from strokes in 2019, and they've suffered strokes, and it becomes the forefront of the news, but then it kind of fades back. And
I think Sharon Stone had a stroke.
Oh yeah, a long time ago. Yeah, but what happens is it kind of drops back because other things take the precedent. And I can understand that, but our vision is to keep it as a conversation because we're saving lives.
Yeah.
We're saving lives as far as, preventing strokes, letting people know the signs. 80% of strokes can be prevented. The fast, the face, the arms, the smile, the speech, the time, the tongue.
And we covered a lot of that in our video called
Knowledge is Power.
Knowledge is Power.
And
this morning,
because of Judy, go ahead,
this
give the
morning
drum roll.
we had 12,008 views. 12,000.
And that's only on Facebook.
And that's just on Facebook.
Yay! And that really is like
a milestone.
A milestone, only because it's funny that's the most important show we've ever done.
It covers everything.
It covers it, and I don't mean to downplay our guests because our guests are really important, but that is like an information show.
And we go through every stage of it. We have slides, and people are sharing it with their family and their friends. And if somebody is having a stroke, they're going to know the signs.
Yeah.
They're going to know a lot more about it when they get to the hospital. They're going to know what should be done and what shouldn't be done. And they're also going to know if it isn't done. Time is of the essence, and there's going to be a very long recovery.
4.5 hour window. And if anybody would like to be a guest on the show, if you know someone that had a stroke or aphasia or brain trauma, and they're
brain
suffering
aneurysm,
from aphasia,
head injury,
please contact Judy. Because she will connect you onto the show. We rather have you live on the show. I just think it's more personable. But if you can't, if you're in another state or something, or can't make it, you can always Skype in, and that's really an important piece. So give them your email address.
It's STYF2050@AOL. Or you could go to the website on ReneMarie Language of Love Foundation, and you'll check it out on the board members, and there's a page if you'd like to be on the show.
Yes. Or you can always contact me, or you can contact Jim through Village Connection. Whatever way you can find us, we're on. Or you could let us know through this. You can hook on to the TV channel that we're watching right now, and just let us know then. But thank you so much for joining us today. I had a thought when I was driving here. That's usually when I connect with God. I'm preparing for the show and transitioning from being a mom and a grandma and Mimi, as my grandson calls me, and life, into really being the host of this show. And I think about how I could touch you, how I could touch each individual person out there. And I thought that we're going to come up with a package that, with a donation, you could, each show will be designated as a donated to a person. If you have somebody that died of a stroke or someone that suffered a stroke and you want to talk about them, or you want their photo, you don't want to be on the show, but you want their photo and their story, and this will be a memorial for them, or a significant, some hope for them, if they're still alive, because they can always tune back in, and we could take it in any fashion that you want to take it. So we're going to come up with a package and post it on our Facebook.
And there's about 3 ways now. I found the third way on one of your websites that all the videos are on. Remember I said that I only saw some of them on Stroke of Luck, some of them on ReneMarie Language of Love, but now I found a third one. Don't ask me what it is right now, but I did find it.
Well, they are all on the Stroke of Luck TV. But
it's in one of your websites.
It's you know what? We're all over the place. We have 4 different websites out there. We have a YouTube channel. We have Jim's channel. We have Jim's YouTube. We have Facebook. So it goes on, our rewinds go on LinkedIn. So we're all over the place. We're all over the place, and that's a good reason. That's a memorial or a tribute to someone that you love. So we're going to come up with that. Thank you, God, for sharing that with me on the way here. So in a few minutes, we're going to have our return special guest, who we know as a wonderful pianist. Joe, how do you say his last name? Grazie? Grazie. Say it again? Graziose. Sorry, that's one thing that I have to work on. Graziose. And I put a Z, so I remember. Graziose. What nationality are you?
Oh, that's Irish. No.
Okay.
No, it's Italian.
No. It's Italian?
Yes.
Graziose. But Joe was, he was on the forefront of our telethons. And that was someone who, didn't know us and just really wanted to support us. And he would drop off his keyboard, and if you know anybody in the industry, in the music industry, who their instrument, they really have to believe in you and trust you to drop it off the day before, for you to use throughout the entire telethon. So, and Joe did that, I think, for 3 years, for the first, second, and third telethon. So we're so appreciative of the work he has done and his support. But now he's back talking about something else that he is taken on. And and I was talking to him before because I had no idea he was into this world. And that is Reiki and holistic. How do you call it? I call it spiritualness. You call it holistic.
It's a holistic practice.
Holistic practice. And Joe's gonna be on, and we're gonna take a short break, and we're going to have Joe come on, because I'm talking to him behind in the green room, and but I wanted to make sure I got it correct. But we're really appreciative of Joe and of his work, and we're gonna talk to him about how we can help stroke patients through this practice as well. It really is an important piece and important information that we're going to share with them. Our telethon is
May 3rd.
Woo!
And that's our 6th annual.
Oh my God!
telethon.
Yes. So and before we go, on my list of things, that if anybody wants to book us for Knowledge is Power, Judy and I will come out and do that presentation for you. And it is a great piece of information and PowerPoint presentation that we have, and we're really adamant and really want to bring that to the entire world. So Judy, you have anything to say before we take a quick break and invite Joe onto the show?
Not really. Not at this moment.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break, listen to some Long Island artists. And Jim, did we say thank you to you today? 2020 is in the works. Yay! We're in the books. Here we go. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
But you had to see through what seemed without flaw. So you may say that this anthem of ours wrong away. Maybe it's true. So when this sound leaves my ear, I can't help but to sing it again.
We're back on. Welcome back to ReneMarie's Stroke of Luck. This is our dear friend, Joe. Hi, Joe. How are you today?
Great to be here.
We're
delighted.
Yes, we're delighted. We're delighted. You know, as we said before, you were a major part of our beginnings, you know, with our telethon. And we really want to thank you from the bottom of our heart for allowing us to, you know, use your keyboard and to be a part of our telethon. It was really very important.
Well, of course, you can thank, I met Judy at Senior American. We always happened to be at the same dinner table whenever there was
Yes.
they always
great.
seated us together, so I got to know
Yes.
Judy and her husband Andrew very well. Found out
this
we
is
had a lot in common.
Yes.
And they're funny, right? Andrew was a comic.
Yes, right. Yeah, I'm not short on humor either, so when Andrew and I got together, it was
It was good.
It was good.
It was good. So before we get to Joe and the Reiki, I want to share, we had promised in 2019 that we were going to continue to review 2019, but in our second hour, our 10 o'clock show, because we're having two shows on now, but one of our board members, Bobby Baby Walker, suffered another stroke. And he's well enough to come in the studio with his wife Kathy. He is suffering from aphasia, and we're going to interview them, and really, you know, our vision and our purpose is really to bring Bobby hope that you can once again come back from a major stroke. It's devastating. It's devastating, and it's weakening, and it makes you, you know, on a physical level weak, but it also makes you depressed and without hope. And we want to bring that hope to Bobby, and we want to support them, so that they're going to be on our second hour show. So sorry, we're so busy, we're on the roll, you know, we always wing it, you know. So anyway, so Joe, tell us a little bit about how you got into, when did you start this holistic practice?
Well, Reiki itself, I was always studying things, you know, spiritual and metaphysical my whole life, but, you know, Reiki was, you know, in all of the magazines of as a practice, so it was available to be seen by the general public. But so when you learn Reiki, there are various degrees of Reiki that you learn. You have to do it in stages. It's a deeply spiritual, and it is tradition. It has a tradition to it. So I started with something called Reiki 1 and 2, and that was with Lynn Harvey, who publishes New Living magazine, and she was my first teacher. And you learn a certain stage of Reiki at that point. There are sacred symbols that are involved that get the energy flowing when you do Reiki. So in the first level of Reiki, you learn 3 sacred symbols that you use to put on your hands before you start a treatment.
Which are? What are the 3 symbols?
Well, they come from Dr. Usui Sensei was a Japanese Buddhist monk who was very deeply concerned about people and getting well. He had read about in the Bible about miraculous healings and some of the things, the healings that were done in the old days, and he was wondering how was this energy procured? He had a deep calling to that, and he went up to the top of Mount Kurama in Japan. This was in the early 1920s, and he fasted and prayed for a long time, and he received this vision, this healing vision. On the way down from the mountain, he was very, very excited, and he broke his toe, and just like you normally do when something hurts, he grabbed onto his toe because he was in pain, and he discovered that the toe had healed, and then he had realized that in the middle of this vision he had received some sort of healing energy.
Right.
Okay, and he started with a group of monks in Japan, which is called a Gakkai, and he, through this vision, he taught them the symbols that initiate the Reiki energy going when a practitioner has to deliver it to a patient.
Right.
Did I explain that good? Or?
No, you did it very well.
Yeah, it's
very well.
It's a very complex.
Well, that's
thing.
why I ask questions, because
Sure.
I'm thinking, like, I'm looking at being an audience, and I'm looking and asking, like, specific people questions.
Sure.
Because I know it's very intricate when you're dealing with the spiritual world.
Yes, right. And as you move up the stages of Reiki, you learn more symbols, and
So what are the, like? Did you? I don't know if you did. Did you give us like 3? What are the first 3 symbols, and what is a symbol? Because
Okay.
I know what a symbol is, but what
Okay.
is a specific symbol
Okay.
that you would use in Reiki, and how do you use it?
Okay. Well, actually, you can go on Google and Google Reiki symbols, and you can even see what they look like, which is not to the liking of the Reiki Association, because they should be really associated when you take a course and you learn with a Reiki master. But they don't show. There's an order to the strokes when you draw them. So the first symbol, they all have sacred names, but
So they're okay.
yeah. So the first one is called the power symbol, okay, which is used for healing. There's one called the mental emotional symbol, which is used for emotional problems and healing psychological problems and trauma. And the third symbol, which has a lot of strokes and it's very complex, is called the distant healing symbol, which is a symbol that we use in Reiki as sort of like an amplified form of prayer. In other words, we can send Reiki to a distant person who's suffering. You can even call the person and say, I'm going to do a distant Reiki healing, why don't you get into a receptive mood? And as crazy as it sounds, we use a teddy bear, okay, and we draw the symbol on the teddy bear, or take a picture of the person and draw the Reiki distant healing symbol on them. And it's an amplified form of prayer to send Reiki at a distance. We also send Reiki to natural disasters, like fires in Australia that are going on right now, people who are suffering in wars. So it's an amplified form of prayer, basically.
That's really important, and I know that when 2 or more do it, it becomes more powerful. Am I correct?
Yes.
Like when if we all picked a time that we were going to pray for those fires, it would really be very powerful.
Yes, I heard that also.
Wow. So we were talking about before as well that I never looked at myself like a healer or holistic practice. I never looked at myself. I looked at myself more as a prayer, but they really are the same thing. and it doesn't matter what you're calling it, as long as you're practicing it through goodness and really clear your energies. Am I correct in my thought process?
Yes. Reiki has the additional benefit beyond prayer, because there's a tangible thing that you can feel and see happening when you do it. You know, when I give a Reiki treatment, often my hands will become very hot, and when a person is receiving a Reiki treatment, they will feel like a glowing radiance that's going through their body, a deep feeling of relaxation. Sometimes, as you know from my bio, you can have miraculous results with it. We're never too sure how Reiki is going to go, because it's sort of like guided from a higher state of consciousness. The Japanese words for Reiki are Rei and Ki, which means Ki is life energy, just like Chi is in Chinese, and Rei means universal. So we channel this energy like from the higher states of consciousness that are called heavens, that are above us, and we become a channel for it. We don't will it to do anything. We submit to it, and we let the Reiki energy go where it needs to heal. In fact, a person who has a bad knee, they can tell me, and I can do Reiki directly on their knee. But if there's something wrong with the knee that I don't even know about, and I'm giving them Reiki on their shoulder, the Reiki has the wisdom to even travel through the body and go to the knee if that's where it needs to be healed. It's pretty fascinating.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
And really, talk about hope. Bringing hope to people, that there are other ways and additional ways to heal. I know that, we do. It's not about not using any medicines. It really is about combining both to do the best you can for somebody that is in need.
Yes.
I mean, have you aside from knees, and have you dealt with anybody that's had a heart attack or a stroke or someone in that? Tell us about that if you have. Have you done someone with those? You don't have to tell us who it is, but share with us how that went.
Yeah. Well, I did give Reiki to someone who had a stroke. It actually was a relative, and after I finished the session, he woke up very, very relaxed, and I did it in his house, and he began to bounce around and walk up and down the steps, and he said to me, "I have a lot of my stride back just from the one session." I wanted him to follow up. He hasn't done more, but I was kind of hoping he would. So that was the main one that I've done with strokes. I'd like to do more.
Right.
Obviously, I'm on a stroke show right now. So that I've also done things with bone healing, blood clots, sciatica, and hernia, and have gotten substantial results with all of them. Sometimes Reiki can be miraculous. It can be miraculous.
Does the person that's receiving it need to accept it?
Oh, I think they would have to.
Or is it something that, because I would think that if they're opened, if their hearts are opened to that channel, it would work.
You're right.
Better.
Yes, I've given Reiki to skeptics.
Right.
And of course, they still feel something, but you bring up a really valid point. The energy is going to work a lot better if a person is receptive.
Can I bring up something?
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually, I'm a skeptic, and I actually had Reiki, had to be 6 years ago, and the person was pushing the energy out to my feet, and I really felt like my feet were going to explode.
Oh.
Right.
They had so much pressure, and they just felt like they were a balloon just filling up with air, and I never experienced anything like that.
Wow.
So I think it definitely did something.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I know that to be true and believe in all that. So are you, now I think I read in your bio, and correct me if I'm wrong, are you affiliated with a hospital, or have you hooked up with a hospital?
Not yet. I mean, I'd be open to the idea. I mean, Reiki is becoming much more widely accepted in hospitals across the country. It is a legitimate form of therapy at Sloan Kettering for chemo.
That must
as
have
an
been where I
adjunct.
read it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as an adjunct, So, in fact, one of my students' mothers was a breast surgeon at there, and she said to me, "Oh, you do Reiki? We already have a Reiki person there." She goes, "If I had known sooner, I could have put in a good word for you."
Well, I mean, we have some affiliates with hospitals
Yes.
that Judy could link you to, and so that our goal is to support.
Mm-hmm.
I will see what I can
Everyone.
do for you, Joe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's local to where you are.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I'm from New Jersey. Sorry, but
Don't be sorry. You're our neighbor.
Yes, we're expanding. But that would be awesome if you could. And we're gonna talk to Bobby and Kathy when they come. We'd love for you to start, working on Bobby. We'll see how they feel about that, because it's so powerful and really brings healing. So how do you how long is a session?
Yeah, good question.
Where do you do your sessions?
Okay. Well, of course, I have my own Reiki table at home, which is very similar to a chiropractor table. It has the thing where you can, rest your nose. If you need to be on your back, you have some place to breathe with your nose. It's a little hole, and or if a person is not too ambulatory and they really need my help, certainly I'd be willing to go to their house. If I can arrange my schedule. I'm a very busy piano teacher, but I try to squeeze all of this stuff in anyway. So a Reiki session, what does it consist of? Well, I would say you want to budget for an hour, and it's probably close to 40 to 45 minutes of pure Reiki goes on. So I usually, to get the mood going, I light a candle. If the person doesn't mind the smell of incense, I use that too.
How about some relaxing music?
Yes, and some new age music or some very relaxing music. All three of those things, And I talk to the client before they come. They talk to me about what their needs are, and what they want healing from.
What the intention is.
Right.
Because isn't that important part of it? The intention.
Yes, what their intention is to heal. If it's a psychological problem or if it's a physical problem, whatever they want, or if they just want to feel what Reiki is like, I can just do, we have in metaphysics something called the chakras. It's the wheels of energy that exist in your body. One is here, the third eye. I would just give Reiki over those. If you have if you tell me you're in perfect health and you want a Reiki session, I'll just do
I hope so.
I'll just do it that way. So I get into a sort of a prayerful mood. I ask, we have something called Reiki guides that are part of this whole process. And
do you know your Reiki guides? Do you connect with them?
Yes, they exist in what the head of the International Reiki Center for Training, William Lee Rand, says the third level of consciousness called the third heaven and above. So we live on this plane, and then in Reiki belief, the next plane is called the second heaven, and that's where some of the spirits are that still haven't worked out all their issues yet. Some of them are very, very good, and a lot of mediums still work at that level, and it's a little bit problematic. Then beyond that is more of a God consciousness. Is called the third heaven, where the ego is transcended, and people live in pure God consciousness, and that's where the Reiki guides are.
Are you talking about the Holy Fire
Right. Mm-hmm.
Reiki?
Yes, and the Holy Fire Reiki, the developments have taken all the way up to the 12th heaven. There's various levels of consciousness above where we are, and Reiki comes from those levels of consciousness. Okay, above us. Okay. So did I talk about? Oh, yeah. So when I start the session, okay, in Japanese prayer position is called gasho. We put our hands like this just to get started before we do our intention. Usually we put our thumbs near our heart, and we kind of feel. Then I know so many Reiki symbols because I'm all initiated all the way into Holy Fire. So I draw basically all the symbols on my hands while the client is waiting on the Reiki, and then I just start the treatment and put my hands on that. Now, I had to do this to a Muslim woman once, and you cannot touch a Muslim woman.
Oh, so you did it without touching her.
Fortunately, Reiki will work if I'm still a half an inch from your
Right,
body.
right.
I can still give the treatment like that.
Right.
You know,
Oh, right.
you know. So, but she still felt a wonderful treatment. So, certain people are have touch issues. You know, other people don't mind if I put my hands on their shoulders. So
Right.
I have to glean that before I work with the client. Naturally.
Definitely.
Right.
You know,
Definitely.
I have to glean that.
Definitely.
You know, if you're allowed to touch, you certainly, our code of ethics is that on a man, we can do anything except over here, and on a woman, we can do anything except here and here,
Right.
as far as touching, okay,
Right.
if they don't have any touch issues. So
Right.
that's just generally the course of action. It's nice if I can it's a little bit easier for me to rest my hands on your shoulder or something. If I have a Reiki table, I'll adjust my chair so that I can sit next to the person. The interesting thing about giving Reiki is, as long as my back is comfortable and I have good posture, you know, while I'm doing it, it actually feels like I'm getting a Reiki treatment when I'm giving a Reiki treatment.
Wow.
In other words, it's a deep sense of relaxation comes over me too.
That was going to be my question to you. I had two questions.
Yes,
Number one is, can you give yourself Reiki?
yes, and I should have covered that. Yes,
No,
once
that's okay.
yeah, once you
That's great.
yes, okay.
That's great.
Yes. So when you're even if you're sitting in traffic, even basically, or if something stresses you out, you can draw your Reiki symbols, the ones that you know, and just go like this on your own body. But even if you're in very bad traffic, you can, with your hands on the steering wheel, you can still ask Reiki to come to you. Yes.
And my other question was, okay, so your client comes in and they lay down on a table, on your Reiki table. What should their mind be doing? Because that really is an important piece.
Well, people have all kinds of degrees of religious and spiritual beliefs.
Right.
So I even say before I start the Reiki treatment, whatever God or religious figure that you believe in, you can ask him right now as you're getting ready for this to assist us in this process. Okay, if you believe in Muhammad, if you believe in Jesus, whatever you believe in, you can ask them. Or if you don't have that, if you just have spiritual beliefs, you can ask, it to be guided so that the best results will happen for you. So that's what I usually tell a person as far as getting ready for it. Does that answer your question?
That does. It
Yes.
does. It does. It does. And before we were talking about the correlation between spiritualness and artistic, because you're a piano pianist, and we were talking about the correlation between being spiritual and having that artistic ability in you. Do you think that played a part of your desire, and which came first, your piano or the holistic world?
It's kind of hard when you're tuned into the arts on a high level.
The arts as far as Reiki, or arts as far as pianist?
No, the arts as far as music and
Right.
things of that nature. You are tuned into, and I've felt it as a small child. You're tuned into the very ethereal
Right. That's what
aspects of life.
Yeah.
And I can remember that even before being 4 years of age and being tuned into that level. And actually, I'm an artist level teacher as well now. And, my teaching, although I've studied the pedagogy of the instrument very well, and as far as the techniques, okay, but, a certain degree of spirituality and channeling enters into even my teaching process.
Yeah, because I think it everything. It doesn't matter whether you're a softball player or a pianist or a manager. You really need to learn the tools to center yourself. And Reiki and spiritualness gives you clarity on who you are, what your purpose is, and I really think that it all correlates because life is difficult and things get in the way of life, and it really is important to find that your channel there. Did I make sense?
Yes, that's true. And as Reiki develops and it goes into the higher levels of consciousness, at some of the very high levels of consciousness, it is believed that's where our purpose is established. And as Reiki develops, people are becoming more in touch with their life purpose who are also involved in Reiki through Reiki.
Yeah. Let's touch on, because we talk about hope on this show. We want to bring hope. So, you know, when you suffer a stroke, or there's so many facets of needing hope in life. Life gets difficult, you know, just the trials of life, or you have a mental illness, or you suffer 4 strokes like Bobby has suffered. You know, like I said in my press for Bobby, you know, he came back really well after his first 2 strokes. He was back singing. He was driving again. He was, you know, he wasn't 100% himself, but I would say he was good to 85 or 90% back to himself. And then this happens, and I mean, the struggles to get back to that place. It's like, oh my God, like again, like, and you get depressed. So how does Reiki help in that avenue?
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, certainly during a treatment, it's like there's a real glowing radiance, and you know, if you're in the middle of a Reiki treatment, you no matter how badly depressed you are, that all goes away, at least for the 45 minutes you're getting Reiki. But if you feel, it can give you a lot of hope. It's a deeply healing energy, and you can feel like now you're part of a larger process in your healing.
But how do you? But like I get it, you know, and you and I are, and Judy are, and Jim are. We're clear, you know, like our minds are clear. But someone who suffered a stroke, their minds are not so clear.
That's true. Yeah.
And do they need to keep coming for Reiki to learn those practices again? It's almost like, you know, you break your arm, you have to throw the ball. Keep throwing the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball, you know, pass the ball to get your self back into shape. There's a bridge that I've been trying to put from understanding what you have to do to successfully recover, but when you're a stroke patient and you don't know, you're just standing there unknown. How do we? I mean, I don't know if you know the answer to this. I'm putting it on you. I mean, can Reiki help them to build that bridge?
Yes, it certainly can. I mean, as I said, Reiki at the very least is going to give you a feeling of very deep relaxation and peace. Okay, and certainly a person who has psychological issues because of a result of the stroke, I'm going to give Reiki, you know, to the head area. So when they're finished with the Reiki session, they will feel more clear-headed. Okay, they should feel a lot more positive about things. With the Reiki healing that it did, where the person actually felt the physical results, obviously was extremely happy, and his whole mental attitude changed, you know.
Yeah. But then we have to probably work together with everybody, because to me, I've been in that place. So I mean, I suffered a major stroke, so I know what it feels like to, okay, you got this new feeling in you. What do you do with it? Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm just speaking from my stroke side. Like, I wouldn't know what to do with that. So do you think that them coming, like, would you share with them the feeling they're gonna have, or do you, or after you have your session, do you kind of share with them? Tell us a little bit about what you know, you explain to them, okay, you may be feeling this, or you may be feeling that. Share with us, like, well,
that's what I mentioned at the very beginning when I started talking about a 60-minute session being like 45 minutes of Reiki.
Right.
You know, I need to prep, and of course I certainly need 10 minutes with the client after it's finished to tell me his experiences and relate to me, you know, what he's done. You know, he might even be so like blissed out from the treatment that I, you know, put a blanket on it and just say, stay another 5 minutes before you even start talking to me or open your eyes.
Right.
Because when you're receiving a Reiki treatment, you go into a transcendental state that's kind of in between sleeping and wakefulness, but it's extremely peaceful. It's you that you feel. People see visions, they see various things, colors, and I like to get feedback from them. And everybody's got something different to say after they get a Reiki treatment. So
is it a practice? And not a practice on your end, a practice on the recipient's end. Should they because you get all this new energy, and what do you do with it? Like even a normal person, what do you do with it? How do you take that wonderful experience that you've had at this particular moment and make it last and not get caught back up in the difficult world, because we can get sucked right back into life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yes. Well, Reiki does help with what we call the ways and worries of the world. After you're finished with the Reiki treatment, you will feel more positive about wanting to do more, I'm pretty sure, because a person who has a stroke would probably want to do at least 4 sessions, maybe once a week. Reiki should instill a sense of optimism in a person. I know I treated somebody who was undergoing chemo, and he had a very bad sciatica, and he hadn't slept for 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, and he had a progressive doctor. He checked with the doctor. He goes, I have a guy. It was a woodwind teacher that I knew. And the doctor was pretty progressive, and he said, yeah, you try the Reiki and want to see how it works. Go ahead, see, He goes, I have no objection. So with one Reiki treatment, now it was 4:00 in the afternoon, and he hadn't slept. I gave him the Reiki at 4:00 in the afternoon. The next day, I found out that he never got it. He slept through the night, and he hadn't slept in 6 months. And he woke up, and the debilitating sciatica was gone. So obviously, if something like that happens, you have hope. Okay, if the Reiki does that, is it going to work miraculously at that level all the time? I don't know.
Depends on the person.
It depends on the person. It depends upon, Reiki has a life and a mind and a spirituality of its own.
And whether they accept it.
Yeah.
They have to accept it.
If your lifestyle habits are like off, Reiki could instill in you, like getting a session, and you might wake up from the session and say, I feel better, but now I think I have to make wiser choices about life.
Right.
I've come to that conclusion.
Right,
it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a healing from the Reiki itself. The Reiki could give you the wisdom to change your habits.
Yes.
But that's a good point, Joe. And the point is that you may be the channel for the gift,
right?
But we have to do it.
That's right. Yeah.
We have to make the changes in our lives. It's not gonna happen naturally.
Yes,
right?
correct? Yes,
And you have to be open to it.
Right, if a person is got really bad diabetes or something, and they just feel that they can have Twinkies every single day,
It's funny you should bring that up.
Yes, it is.
We're laughing because our friend Bobby Baby Walker
took a whole bunch. Kathy was not home.
The miracle of Reiki could be like after a session, he might wake up and say, maybe I got to drop those Twinkies.
Yeah.
Kathy,
that's a part of it.
Kathy went out just for a short time, and Bobby went into the refrigerator and ate a whole bunch of cookies.
Oh, okay.
And Bobby has diabetes. However, I did say to Judy that at this point, after 3 or 4 strokes, I'm not sure how many he's had, I don't think he gets that he can't eat it. I don't think he gets that. I don't think he gets. Oh, they're here. I don't think he gets that he can't eat that anymore. I don't. That's why I think it's in that situation it really is you really have to work with everybody to successfully recover from a stroke or aphasia.
Well, Mike, I put in so much research, and I've worked with nutritional biochemists, and I've studied herbology, and I go to Chinese acupuncturist myself, so I'm very well versed in this. So when I do deal with a client, I bring this up.
Yes.
What are you doing besides this Reiki treatment?
Right. Right, because you have to, because otherwise it's not going to work if they're going to go live their lives the way they did prior, and they're not going to at this particular moment accept a new path.
No,
It's a
it's
new-
really.
new
I mean,
life.
how many people I've met? And it doesn't have to be Reiki. I mean, how many people have said to me, what herb can I take in between my Twinkies? But I've met millions of people like that. It just doesn't work.
Oh,
that
you're
way.
really
Yeah.
funny.
It doesn't work that
That's true. That's true. But it is. So, I'm really happy that I found out this new piece of your life. It brings some clarity to,
I think you spoke. I think I asked you to speak at the Rotary.
Rotary
as well.
Yes.
about Reiki.
Yes.
Yeah, I did it for the
wow.
Rotary. Yes.
Wow.
And that's because of that, the Wild by Nature health food chain. You wrote a beautiful letter about me, and I wanted to give a lecture at Wild by Nature, and it was your letter about how well I
I'm
did
glad
at the
to hear
Rotary
that.
Club that kind of like sold them that
Nice.
maybe this guy can give a lecture. So I am giving a lecture at the Huntington Wild by Nature, a lecture demonstration on Holy Fire Reiki on Saturday, January 25th at 12 noon.
Wow. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Are you very busy with your Reiki practice?
Not much, just a
Do you
little
wanna-
bit.
do you
I'd
want
like to.
to
I'd like to
increase it?
expand. I'd like to expand on it.
So our
you know.
intention here today is to, if they would like a Reiki session, or if they want a conference call, how can they reach you?
I have a very easy email.
Yes.
Very easy email. joepiano@optonline.net.
That is very
Okay,
easy.
very easy. So it's very. You don't even have to write it down. So that's probably
Yeah.
the easiest thing to do,
Yeah.
and everything is there. Okay, and that's basically how we could do it. And I'll hand them a Reiki brochure and how it works and what's going on with Holy Fire 3, which is.
Do you have cards with just devoted to Reiki?
That is being made right now because you see, since Reiki went into Holy Fire, I need new cards now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm having
Because
to do
I
that.
will help you distribute some.
Okay.
Well, we always invite
Yes.
everybody to be part of our telethon. You're
Sure.
more than welcome to bring this Reiki practice
Yes.
into our telethon.
Yes.
Maybe on the telethon we had Dr. Corin came
Yes.
and did some sessions. Maybe you could come that day and give some Reiki practice, and you could build your clientele that way as well. But we can also share with everybody the experience.
So
Yeah.
sometimes if that I can give Reiki to the camera if they want to sit for 5 minutes.
Well,
Some
you
other
should have
time.
told us that 5 minutes
No,
ago.
that's-
But next time you could be on the show.
Yeah, sure. We'll do that next
You
time. I'll
could
give Reiki to
definitely-
the camera, and then people feel it on the other side.
Yeah. Yes. I know
Right.
because Dr. Wayne Dyer, who was the
He's a motivational speaker.
yeah, no, but he when he was diagnosed with cancer, and I'm drawing a blank on the person, someone had done that, gave him long distance healing, and it was a major practitioner, a major
Right.
holistic person. I forget what his name was, but he did feel it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and he went to. They told him he needed to wear white to go to bed all night, and he went to bed and he woke up and he felt. But then for a week after, he had to deal like he was in recovery. He couldn't just go out. He
had to relax.
He had a physical practice. He had a physical surgery on him, done long distance. So I believe in all that stuff. That's very interesting. Thank you so much, Joe.
Welcome so much.
Thank you so much. It really was very.
We really appreciate it.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It was awesome. It was awesome and very enlightening. And I hope that we can bring hope to everybody through this show that anything is possible. You just have to believe. You have to, and you really have to do the work. Doing the work would be to contact Joe or to contact a Reiki person. It's not going to happen by you just sitting there thinking about it. Step out of the box and do something that you wouldn't have done normally. Call a Reiki person, or
Right.
or go to church, or go on the beach and pray, or just sit in the silence for a little bit and get guidance. But it really is important to bring peace into the world right now. The world is a little bit.
You know what I also
Crazy.
think? I think that it's important to associate with positive
Oh my
people.
gosh! Yes.
If
I
you
agree.
want to get well and if you want to stay well, the people surrounding you should all be positive people.
Yes, I agree. So,
Positive thinking people.
Is there something
Reiki,
you wanna say?
a lot of information if you can't get to me for a Reiki treatment. And of course, there's Reiki.org. You can learn all about Reiki, the latest developments in Reiki that I'm a part of. You probably could find a practitioner near you by going on that. And if you have any questions about it and you just want to talk about it even, I'm willing to just even talk about it. You know, contact me at joepiano@optonline.net, and that would be fine.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, Joe. Don't get up. Okay, we're going to blow our kisses, and we will be back in a few minutes. We're going to probably be running a little bit late on our second show, but Jim is going to put our closing song on. I'm just letting Jim know because I didn't tell him that before. And we'll be back with Bobby Baby Walker, Kathy Walker, and Joe. I don't know if you're in a hurry, but you're more than welcome to hang out and be on the second show as well. Just that I just said that, sir. Don't expect him. And we'll be back. And thank you so much. 2020 is going to be an incredible year.
An awesome year.
An awesome year. Let's blow our kisses. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody.
God
See you
bless.
next. Bye. God bless. See you in a few.
Mi amor, yo no entiendo por qué tú más que nadie sabes qué pasó en mi vida. Yo no sé qué tú piensas, yo no sé lo que estoy perdiendo. Yo no sé lo que va a pasar.